You're listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner.
This is Zoom the TBT. I'm here with my partner, Charge. Charge, what's going on, man?
Hey, good evening, Hayner. How you doing today? Actually, I got extra noise in the background. Let's get rid of that.
It wouldn't be a show of ours as a production value suffer. It's kind of how we roll.
Second recording of the year, so I'm out of season. You've been doing all the heavy lifting with the podcast video, so I'm good.
Let's just keep this honest. You're here for your good looks and charm. I mean, you know, it's pretty funny. We call this thing, and then there were 8. Yeah, I mean, look at me and look at you. I mean, the hair's starting to go. I'm starting to go bald. I mean, you got the full head of hair, both on the top and the beard. You're just set.
Gray, Olden.
Well, you know, I mean, it's as long as it's not gray where it counts. Hey-oh. Anyway, so and then there were 8. Sounds like a really weird sort of Sex and the City show. Or are you more of a Sex and the City person, or more of a different show person?
Definitely not a Sex and the City person. I've heard of it. Don't even know if I've ever seen an episode. So kind of like most of our viewers. So probably never seen this show, but that's all right.
Yeah. I actually kind of find that amusing. That's the only time don't tell anyone though. We can't record. Oh crap, we're recording. Okay. Anyway, let's get into this. Enough about nonsense. Let's talk about this bracket. Let's talk about what's going on. So first of all, this has been a wildly entertaining TBT. I mean, it has delivered. It's not been boring. There's been insane comebacks. There's been a host of huge upsets. Let's scrub the list. We have Sideline Cancer, who went ahead and got one of the big scalps, upsetting the Ville after Montrezl Harrell played an historic 3-for in 2 days, which is incredible. Eberlein Drive, favorites of the pod, one of the best backcourts in TBT. That's a huge matchup. Charge, that open looks pretty sexy. What do you think about Shell Shock, West Virginia? Just high level.
Yeah, no, this one here was the region, the Shell Shock one that was pretty much wide open. You had the Happy Valley Hoopers with the 1 seed. You had great teams like Next Era, who's the former Big Five, JMU obviously hosting it. So it was a wide open region, and Shell Shock, which we'll get to a little deeper, came out of there, put a good team together, a lot of structure, a lot of organization, looked good. And then to be honest with you, West Virginia just totally surprised me. They're a rebuild in a lot of ways. And, when you're looking at, who was in that region with Elite Nation, we heard that, unfortunately had a couple guys playing summer league, which is great for them, hurt them in their chances at TBT. But West Virginia's been really, really impressive. One of the most surprising teams. I didn't give them a whole lot of credit going in, and then they looked amazing.
Yeah, it's been a really great thing there. And I'll stick on this. The aftershocks have been interesting because they've had one of the only 2 hosts to survive. Obviously, the Roundhouse is always great. They're going to play Heartfire again, a veteran team with a lot of talent. That's going to be a great one. And maybe the most intriguing one. So, Charge, briefly, we are D3 fail harder. You kind of know a little bit about those questions. We'll go into it more in a minute. But your first top-line thought about this team, this matchup.
Yeah, this matchup, I mean, these teams feel almost identical to me. Just the energy, the pace they play, the depth of their teams, just the pride in the organization and the kind of the aura they have about them. They're just out there, and confidence is there, something to prove, and they're out there proving it every day. So this is going to be an amazing matchup. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's kind of funny you mentioned that because we actually have we have a few guests come out tonight. We should probably bring them on now. So it's really funny. We already 3's been an interesting squad. They were a punching bag for years. They were very close to winning, couldn't quite over the hump. They were 0 for their entire existence, got their first win last year, and then took the defending champs to the wire. And this should have been nothing but a dominating team throughout the Syracuse region. We'd like to welcome Coach Michael Rejniak, the GM and coach of We Are D3. So, Rej, how you doing today?
Doing good. I'm actually at my house tonight, which is awesome, and then I fly out tomorrow, so that's pretty cool too. So it's all good.
No rest for the wicked too. You're going straight to Wichita. I mean, you guys are just the traveling road show, right?
Yeah. We'll bring this show on the road. We'll see. Keep this revenge tour of exercising my demons. It's all good.
So talk a little bit about, so one thing I've been really impressed of, because Charles and I were actually watching the Boeheim's Army game from Indy. We were sitting in the press area. We had the iPad up, and we were actually watching your game while we were watching one of the games there going on at the same time, which is a very March Madness feel, which is part of the charm of TBT. And one thing that struck out is, like, your team seems to be very composed at all times. Like, they've actually – the shooting hasn't always been there, but the composition's been there. They've adjusted – can you talk a little bit about how your team has been so composed under pressure this tournament?
I think, to be honest, it's because of all the scars of the past by our veterans, between Marcus, Ty, and Demetrius Underwood, and having like the close losses and things like that. That has gone a real long way for us, and we're just kind of figuring it out along the way. But having those kind of experiences to reflect on, like, we had several good scrimmages going into week one that were really beneficial in different ways. Like, we scrimmaged Herkimer and we blew an Elam ending. Like, we were just kind of messing around. I didn't like that. And then, we played Rise and Grind too, and it was very physical. And we had to match kind of their physicality with Hunter Dean and a couple of those shooters. I actually thought that they were going to, beat Vermont. So like that was good in another way as well. So, and we kind of been learning along the way as well, which is pretty awesome to see. And the growth, like I thought, our Elam ending against Stars of Stores was our best one yet. And so we're kind of learning that as we kind of go along.
Yeah, the one thing you mentioned was a lot of that returning core. So a lot of this final eight is kind of split into kind of two groups: people who really got some good free agent acquisitions, and then the folks who brought back their core. So you brought back 6 guys. Obviously, your big three with Nichols, Azor, and Underwood, and then Sam Peake was added to the mix and has played good ball for you guys as well. So how important was the chemistry and the learning from I guess last year? You started to taste defeat, and I guess not the learnings, but when did the mindset just really shift that we're not a D3 team trying to get our first win to, we belong in this tournament and we have legit chance for $1 million?
It started 3 years ago after we got our butts kicked by Aftershocks. That was the best thing for us. And then that following year, played Kansas at Kansas in a tough game. And I think, like, from then on in, like, I thought that Kansas team was like legit. Like, that might have been between them and Heartfire and Boeheim's Army this year. I think those are the top 3 that like are really good teams. Like, I was like, holy smokes. But I think, like, when we took them to the brink, I think it proved the concept, and then we kind of just continued to kind of build on it and supplant our roster with it. We got some better seating too, which helps, significantly. Because like, I think this is the type of tournament where getting momentum is so huge. And to get some momentum and going into it has been beneficial to us for sure.
Definitely. I mean, you guys have shown a lot of continuity, like Charge said. Can you also, real quick, a lot of people don't understand the different levels of division, and Charge and I both are Division III grads. That's why we have a special affinity and love for your program. Division III athletes do not get scholarships to play basketball. It's on their own dime. So can you elaborate a little bit on the FAFSA motivated shirts? I love that.
So FAFSA is the loans that the normal Joe, like all of us, have to take out to pay for college. And so, my assistant coach, Jay Harris, he's like a genius when it comes to mind and ideas. And he came up with that shirt and I absolutely loved it. And now they're like selling off of the shelves right now. We'll get you some as well, because I think it's like $1 million t-shirt.
Quite almost literally in this case, maybe 3 more minutes.
Literally. And like, some of the UConn guys were like, what is FAFSA? What does that mean? I was like, you wouldn't know, dude. Like, so I'm not even gonna try and explain to you. Sorry.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and then
Is that where the bag of money comes? Yeah.
Yeah, like they had no clue. So like, go to Mercenary Apparel. You can buy it. It goes to us. Goes to their company, which is great. But yeah, like I was like, it's pregame. I'm not going to explain to you what FAFSA is. It's not even worth my time.
Actually, just let it screw with their heads. You're like, wouldn't you like to know? It's a secret play, and their heads are going and
like a word anagram, like.
Yeah, and so you guys got some experience out in Wichita and a pretty big following out there. So that should speak real well for D3 as you take on Fail Harder.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to compete against Fail Harder. Tongue in cheek, they're the only team in TBT that has a bigger staff than team. They have like 90 different boosters, GMs, all that stuff. I had to laugh. But they have very similar ideals, well coached, play at a great speed. They have a couple of really nice players that I enjoyed watching. Like I've watched them play a couple times. But like I think like it's gonna be a really hard fought game with a lot of effort, which is great. We're familiar with kind of the Roundhouse, which is like a crazy place to play, and I'm looking forward to kind of getting a chance for my guys and I to exercise some demons there, because we've had some really, really tough moments in that place. But it's an unbelievable atmosphere. It helps that my assistant coach, David Clark, is from there, so logistics is pretty much handled pretty well already, and we know kind of where to go and things like that. So that makes the transition, pretty easy tomorrow when all of us fly out to Wichita.
Definitely, and I'm sure you guys are flying in the private jet, right?
Oh yeah, charter. With a logo just like Stars of Stores, just like it with a We Are D3 right on the fin. Absolutely.
So, those teams being mirror images.
D3 plane, get y'all there.
Absolutely.
It's like Major League, the plane in Major League, right? Where it's just like.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord! So hang on. So you do mention the mirror images, and you do see a lot of the same thing in these teams. They're both hard fought. They both play with a little bit of pace and speed. Fail Harder actually is one of the faster teams in this tournament. Mm-hmm. So how do you coach against a team that is sort of a mirror image? Like, how much of a challenge will that present for your guys?
Oh, we're used to playing against it because every day in practice we've been going against it for almost 2 weeks now. So I think it's just a mindset. They play very quick. With us, it's always been a transition game for us as well. And I think it showed, yesterday when we played Stars of Stores, and quite frankly, I thought they quit at the end. I'm still waiting on handshakes from like several of their players, by the way. But the coaching staff was very, very classy, and obviously Mark is very classy. I had to laugh on his he commented on my Instagram, like, one thing I sometimes I speak in absolutes, but that's because I truly believe it. And when I said Marcus Azor and Ty and Demetrius Underwood was the best
backcourt in TBT, you said it multiple times.
I still stand by that. And he said, relax. I'm pretty relaxed now. No, but like,
what about the F-bomb?
He's doing.
They're great. They're a great program.
No, and he's running it the right way, and he's building it the right way, and he needs more support. I think under it. I'm very impressed with how he runs everything. He does things the right way. I think they're just figuring out, like I think we all are, the first couple seasons and things like that. So, nothing but he, in all tongue in cheek though, he is a true class act, and I think their program is going to be a force to reckon with for years to come, for sure.
I would agree with that. So walk us through the F-bomb, Coach Reg. We don't really have a problem with you cursing here, so you say what you want. But the live TV, was your family watching? Did you get lectured at home for that?
No, like it's the emotion of the moment. And to be honest, like I fault the guy who's like not running the tape delay on me. Like, why aren't you doing that with me? It's like so dumb. Like I've dropped F-bombs in the past. I'm dropping them there. I got people sending me memes. You talked about Major League, and I'll swear right here, like in that moment where he's like, well, let's go win the whole fucking thing. And so like, yeah. I'm all about it. It is what it is. I don't need to sugarcoat anything. I don't work for an AD right now. So like, I'm a free agent. So like, it's the worst thing to let a free agent go rogue. So like, credit to the mic guy that was monitoring me.
So I'll let Charge go unless he's done. I got one more, but Charge, what do you got for Reg before we let him go?
No, I mean between him dropping the F-bomb and my wife and I were watching the game and they zoomed in on just an intense moment. My wife's like, "Wow, that guy looks mean," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "He's the nicest guy in the TBT." That's the game face. So you were locked in at the time, but just really enjoyed watching the game. But yeah, I think it's going to come down. Like you said, it's going to the matchup I'm really looking forward to is Darius Adams, just kind of tenured vet versus Ty Nichols, the young guy, chip on the shoulder, and then that's I think that's kind of the game in the game. I think whoever kind of really rises to the occasion and wins that battle, wins this game, and so that's going to be the fun part for me.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to watching that matchup too. I'm really, I think obviously very talented players kind of going at one another. Bob, my man, Bob, I love Bob.
We got Bob on the show. We got the voice of the Hawks on the show. Yeah,
he's an absolute boss. And
the legend.
He's one of our lucky charms that I just stuffed in my suitcase so that I can take him to Wichita with me.
Excellent.
Is he who's on the call with Wichita? Do you know? Is it Foster's?
I think it's Bob.
It's Foster's. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, it's Bob. That'd be great. Well, then that's your good luck charm.
That's my good luck charm. I think like that matchup between those guards, it's going to be really exciting to see. And I think, what's a credit to Fail Harder. You're starting to see like kind of like the returners kind of doing those teams that bring in returners. And I think they're very well coached, which I think is exciting for me and the staff and to prepare for them. Because I know they'll be ready. We'll be ready. It should be a good time.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
this is a tough game. He is on the call.
Yeah, this is a tough game for me to call because Coach Neal, he was charge coach for a lot of years, and so really been following him throughout. Got you.
You're a coward, Charge. You're a coward.
It wouldn't be the first time I've had to put some charge players to pasture.
Yeah.
Okay, Reg, we're going to let you go. We're going to let you pack out.
That's the coach. Sure. That's the coach this year. But,
I got one question before I let you go, Reg. Yeah. One question before I let you go. Briefly tell our listeners how you made the adjustment, because you were kind of getting eaten alive a little bit in the post in the first half. You guys were down almost double digits for a good deal of the first half. You made adjustment late. Talk to me about how you decided to double aggressively.
Oh, I think we have some very talented long wings. Like with Hank Morgan, Tom Corey, Jackson Misherick, who's there as well, and kind of we have like these like treasure trove of long wings that can really kind of force it out of Thomas's hand. When we started to do that after the second quarter, it really made the difference. Between that and executing, our shots started to fall well. I knew in the first quarter, I was like, that's about as crappy as we can play. And I was like, we look like dog doo-doo. And I was very –
I thought you were done. I was actually saying it's been a good run. I actually thought you were done. Yeah.
I always wanted to kill the tickets, right? And that was pretty cool. But to be honest, I wish we didn't kill the tickets because it was just like literally like 5 fans. And it was like, and UConn they're 4 hours away, so they're not going to bring anybody, except for Shabazz Napier, which was great catching up with him. He's a good dude. But like, it was tough to kind of create that energy. And once we started to create that energy, we got stops and transition. I thought it was very beneficial to us. And like I said, I thought the difference in UConn in the first half versus the second half was almost like night and day. And the officials, and they started arguing amongst each other and things like that. I started to see some cracks where I thought we could expose. And but I think like I said, they're very talented, but I think like those doubles made the difference, quite frankly.
Charles, you got anything else you want to talk to Reg before we let him go back?
No, we could talk all day, but for the sake of time and some of the folks waiting in the background, we probably should move on. But looking forward to this matchup, and we'll see how it all plays out Sunday, right? This is a Sunday game and not a Monday?
Yep, Sunday early game. Go to Wichita. It's going to be like 100 degrees. Be like punch in the face heat. But, thank you for everything, guys, that you do and bringing awareness, and not just telling our story, but telling, I think, Sideline Cancer has a great story this year. And obviously all those other teams that are with us in the Elite Eight. I can honestly say I'm rooting for all of them, except for Fail Harder just because of logistics. But everybody else, they're all like really good dudes. And
no, you're right about that.
And they all run their programs the right way. So best of luck to everybody.
All right, Coach. Appreciate you.
Be well.
Coach Reg, always a pleasure. Coach and GM of D3, Coach Michael Rejniak. Mike, see you around. Yeah, it's always good to catch up with Mike. Really, really, really good dude. Can't believe Rathburne's going to be on the call. It's very cool. It's a good luck charm for him. Yeah. So what do you think, Charles? Should we get an analysis, or should we bring on another guest just to get these guys off so we can get them all their into the night and do the analysis?
Yeah, I know those guys are extremely busy. If we're not going to get back to We Are D3 and Phil Harder, obviously we'll get to the picks later, but I think one of the things we got to watch for there is Phil Harder struggled really bad in the Elam ending, and they've got to get that figured out. I thought they did a much better job against Ohio State, better shots. I think it was more nerves, but they gave up 16 points to Ohio State, 16 points the game before that, and the Butler game, I think it was, they gave up 11 Elam ending points. So just really, really struggled in the Elam. So that could be somewhat of a challenge versus a veteran We Are D3 team that will be ready for it.
Yeah, it's interesting because we were at the game. You've been to all of the games for Phil Harder. They played fast, aggressive with a lot of juice. They actually won the Indiana State Championship, which is great. But also, the composure of D3. They're both fast, but D3 is a little more composed, but maybe a little less explosive. So it might be a pace game between two evenly matched teams. We'll see who can impose their will. Now, we're going to go to the analysis for the whole bracket because we do have 4 games to talk about. We'll talk about them in depth, but because we have guests that are taking time out to come in, we're going to go ahead and prioritize them a bit. So we're going to jump around a bit, so bear with us. So, Charge, we're lifers. We've been following this almost since its first year. I think you have followed it for 3 years. I'm a second-year guy. I've covered it for 8 years. You've covered it with me for 6. We're both about as tied in the TBT as you can. What 2 teams have played in every TBT?
This is a trick question because Eberlein Drive has not played in every TBT. They had the COVID year.
We're not counting the DQ. Come on. We're not counting the DQ.
Accepted into every TBT.
Who qualified for every TBT, you pedantic?
And those good folks from Sideline Cancer have this is a matchup of a lifetime here. I mean, just, good folks, great programs. I mean, Reg was talking about how good this Final 8 is, but to see these guys meet this deep in the tournaments, exciting, the game. This is another one of those ones I struggle with Fail Harder than We Are D3, but another one where you just really want success from both of these guys. Yeah.
And we'll get into this matchup at depth in a second. But before we get into the depth of this, we do have one of the guests, one of the leadership parts of Eberlein Drive, assistant coach, also a TBT lifer, has been part of, Jimmy V. He's been part of the Old Armored Athlete and Friday Beer Squads with AJ Mahar. Good friend of the program, somebody we've had on many times. Assistant coach Vinny Vetrone. Vinny, what is shaking, man?
Just getting a couple days to regroup myself here because I almost lost my life the other night. So I'm just trying to get back.
Yeah, that was nuts. So I was watching that game. My partners, everybody who watches the show knows, works in film, and I had just gotten back from the 4 games or four regions in 4 days. We saw you in Kentucky, saw you guys beat Tampa. I had to watch the other one on TV, and you guys tried really hard to lose that game for a bit. You guys were up big, and then decided to play hot toe at the ball, and basically a smart veteran team lost their mind for about 2 minutes and gave up 4 turnovers and ate like a 19-point run. So what was going through your mind when that occurred?
I actually had no recollection of most of the fourth quarter leading into the Elam. So I actually just watched it this morning, and things that I thought happened didn't happen. And then I was like, that some days the ball bounces your way, but I think, guys he was saying, Coach Reg there, everyone that's left in this tournament really runs things the right way. And, everyone was texting my phone after, the incident of the injury or, whatever had happened.
We'll get to that. We're going to get to that.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, sometimes the ball bounces the right way for the right people,
And it certainly did. I mean, we waiting on the injury because that was such a gutsy move, putting Archie Goodwin on the line. Obviously, I know your choices were limited on who you can put on there, but man, the story there, the drama there. So how did you choose Archie when you had the other folks to choose from?
So they told us that the rule actually changed because we thought we were able to pick from someone from the bench that, played in the game already. And they said it had to be someone on the court. And, it's just we might as well write the storyline, write the storyline. And if Arch beats us, he was killing us all game. He's been killing all tournament. So, we just kind of put it in his hands and, we lucky he gave us another shot at it. But it was an amazing
Was
game.
it weird having a guy who's basically an Eberlein drive lifer playing against you guys? Because obviously when Archie Goodwin doesn't play for La Familia, he's a drive guy. It's the only reason he didn't play for you guys is because there is a Kentucky team now. So was it kind of like a pleasant weirdness, like an awkward / awesome feeling for the guys on drive?
To be honest, when you're in that environment and you see all those Kentucky fans, it's kind of hard to see him and be like, why wouldn't you go play for Kentucky in that environment? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
when we saw him pregame and the days before, it was all love, all hugs and stuff. And we knew he was going to come out and battle. And like I said, he gave us, he was giving us everything he had.
So anyway, I want to get back a little bit to what happened so far. I want to grab these stats because I'm looking forward to this game against LA Cancer. Because first of all, this is a game for the culture. This is a game for the lifers. Because again, we're to charge our time. These are the only 2 teams that qualify for every TBT. They're the 2 premier non-alumni teams. All respect to Hardfire's a former champion. We already threw as an emerging power. These are the teams people think about when they think about non-alumni teams. And these are 2 of the best backcourts in TBT. I mean, Morrow and Verge have kept sideline in this. They've played great. They gutted out a win against the Ville. You guys have your own backcourt with York and Clemens. So is this going to be a battle of just elite TBT backcourts?
Yeah, I mean, if you look across the board at all the teams that have made deep runs in the tournament, it's, backcourts kind of carry them there. But then it's kind of when you get to the nitty gritty of the Elams and the Final Fours, you really kind of see the interior presences is what kind of separates, certain teams. And as you see, Hardfire won it. They have all of the best players that are 6'8" and above in the whole world, So, but sideline this matchup, what it means to TBT. I mean, like I said, in terms of storylines and the way things have been shaken out, I speak to Coach Clapper every other week, So this is amazing.
Yeah, and speaking of Coach Clapper, obviously amazing story there. Sideline cancer, playing in this for many, many years. In support of pancreatic cancer. I got to know Billy a little bit years ago. My mom passed away from pancreatic cancer. I can't remember how many years now. So kind of felt a connection to these guys, and then Billy going through his own cancer fight, and coincidentally, the night they pulled off the next big win, it was great news for Billy, and that he looks to be cancer free and in remission. So just, shout out to Billy. Obviously, he's a fighter, continues to fight. And I'm sure if he could be there, with support of the team, he would. But this is a team, obviously very talented, but also playing with a lot of that emotion too. So, so how do you guys kind of, battle through that and they're going to have that X factor. What's the X factor for Eberlein that is going to push you guys over the top?
Well, first off, just to speak to Coach Clapper real quick, just like the person that he is. Obviously, I've developed a relationship with him here over the years. This past season, one of my kids that played for me in AAU got diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, played the whole season with cancer, going through chemo. Coach Clapper, I connected both of them, and he sent them a big box of stuff, communicates with them. And now, they have their own relationship. So just in terms of that, like if I do need to lose to somebody in this tournament, if it is Coach Clapper and sideline cancer, because I know they're going to come ready to play, that's one I'll live with.
It'll be funny though too, because I don't know about losing yet. Because this will be a pretty interesting matchup. Because since it is the TBT cultural game of the year, the one for the ones who know, the if you know game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be a pretty even matchup. Are you looking forward to? Have you ever been on a team that's participated in Charleston?
Have never been to Charleston, West Virginia.
You're gonna love it. It's a wonderful city.
I've been to Morgantown.
Been to Morgantown? Yeah, it's like Morgantown, except a little more local color. It's interesting. Yeah, we have a good time. So one thing I'll say is we got to watch Eberlein. Gabe York was on a heater in the first game. He got bottled up a little bit at times against UK. Not because obviously he got any worse, just because they have a lot of size they can throw at him. Mm-hmm. How important is it going to be to get Gabe and Clemens going early to carry out this win?
Yeah, I feel like for us, because obviously Verge and Morrow are an amazing backcourt themselves. So kind of for us, we want them to play at our pace. If we start getting in a back and forth with those guys and it's Gabe shooting one and them shooting one, in that Kentucky game, like you said, we lost our minds. You know what I'm saying? We got caught up in the moment, and the less we could do that, I think, we're really talented. And now that we've been playing together and have more cohesion together, I think if we could settle down for the whole game and make teams play at our pace, I think, we could beat anyone.
Yeah, and both these teams are very deep too, especially your team, Vinny, with Eberlein. I mean, you go Gabe, Clemens, Terry, Nate, Brown, and you still got guys like Tommy Rutherford, Brown, Bradshaw coming off the bench. I mean, this is an incredibly deep team. So how hard is it to manage kind of all these guys, all high-level players, and want to get out there and compete?
One thing that I think we did a great job, Matt, Jake, and I, this year, obviously we got a lot of great players, but we have a lot of great people on our team, to be honest with you. Like in the third quarter, Pedro didn't play the whole third quarter. I went down to the end of the bench. I'm like, hey, Dro, like, stay with us. He's like, bro, like, I'm good. Don't even worry about me. Like, I just want to win. We put him back in there in the fourth quarter. He gets a crazy offensive rebound, bounce passes it to Terrell Brown, and we get a layup off of it. I sub Brian Brown out in the Elam for Terrell Brown. Brian Brown's a veteran, has been playing in this forever. And we're losing in Elam. We call a timeout, and I'm pacing the sideline because I'm bugging out. And Ryan is the one that's coming over to me like, bro, calm down. He goes in the huddle. He's the one telling everyone. They went on that run because we turned the ball over. It was nothing they were doing. It was what we were doing. Like, let's just calm down. So when you're surrounded by a bunch of guys like that are just really team first guys, it makes managing the substitutions like so much easier because we haven't had to worry about one person like, hey, like, put me in, or like, why didn't I play? Like, we just haven't been dealing with any of that. So like, as a coaching staff, it just makes our life a lot easier.
Watson I believe it was Watson had a little bit of a bang up. Like, he got back in the game. How's he feeling?
Oh yeah, he's good. He's one of the 5 guys that have been staying. They were working out today. He's good to go.
Okay, and also he's not nearly as badly hurt as Willie Cauley-Stein.
Hey, I just watched that for the first time, and it's just, you know, they say if
it was a wild last minute because that was go ahead.
No, they just, if you handle things with grace, you have God's favor. You know what I'm saying? So once you don't handle things with grace, you lose the favor. You know.
Now, obviously, it's a weird last minute because not only was the injury or non-injury, you guys did profit off. It looks like a weird reset of the shot clock because they were calling it during the game because Foster's and Home were on the call and they noticed that basically the ball didn't seem to hit the rim. So I guess you're saying breaks go both ways, right?
Like I said, I have no recollection of that part.
This isn't a court case, Vinny. We're not putting you on trial. That's funny. Oh my lord! Oh my lord! Now, so a little bit of a kind word for the thank. Go ahead.
To be honest, I did kind of like see it, and I was trying to count down from where the clock was to when he shot it, and it was close. It was close. So if it was the other way around, I probably would have, been mad as well. But at the end of the day, they had a bunch of opportunities to end the game before that. So, I mean, it's one of those elams that, after the game, I kind of sat there for a second and was like, that was probably one of the best elam ending finishes unbiasedly of all time. Like, that was an amazing game. So, to be on the winning end of it, it just hearing that crowd go silent was amazing. That's why we do it. Leading up to the game, we were just saying that, like, even at halftime or even when we're losing toward the end of the game, like, this is why we do TBT. Like, we want to be in environments like that and winning games like that. So, I mean, it was really a special night.
Yeah, one of the guys who works for me, he's a big Kentucky fan, and he's texted me from the game because I was up in Hinkle, and you definitely deflated him quickly. He's like, oh my gosh, can't believe it. So, yep, there was a few thousand of those feeling that same feeling.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere there. And also, one last thing about this, Vinny, a word for the vanquished is obviously part of being an underground team like Eberlein or Sideline is we do understand that the big alumni teams do kind of pay the freight. So obviously, you guys cost TBT thousands of dollars. So I hope you feel good about that. No big deal. I don't think you care. But like, can you speak to the atmosphere? Because I think La Familia presents a really good value proposition going forward for TBT. How was the atmosphere? Was it a class team? Was it a class environment to be in? Should they return?
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, to be honest, when you walk into the gym, like, it's Kentucky basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're looking down the other end. They played, like, a 5-minute intro video before, like, during warm-ups, and we're sitting there and, like, I'm trying to be mad a little bit. Like, how long is this damn video? Like, they're showing highlights back to the 50s. And then I'm, like, still catching myself looking at it like, oh, I remember that game. Like, that was a great game. Like, and then like you see Aaron and Andrew Harrison out there. Like, you remember the tournament run that they went on and all the shots they made. Like, it's still Willie Cauley-Stein down there at the other end, but we did a really good job of, that crowd got behind. They went on a 16-0 run. It was literally 16-0. And we figured out how to overcome that. And that's why, like, I really speak so highly of these guys because a lot of teams would have just rolled over.
Fair enough.
George, you got anything else before we let Vinny go into the night?
No. I appreciate your time. Vinny, you down there in West Virginia already, or when you getting into town?
No, so I actually drove. I missed my flight, because Matt and Jake, they don't know their personnel. They gave me like a 6 a.m. flight, knowing I was going to miss it. So
you're going to bed at 6 a.m. Yeah, you're not getting up at 6 a.m. You're like me. You're a vampire.
I drove out there. So after the game Tuesday night, I drove back, and I'm leaving Saturday morning. So I have
All
a
right.
couple
Well,
more days.
hopefully you got a good flight. You get there, get the guys ready to go.
Oh no, like Hayner said, Friday night I'm gonna just go right to JFK and sleep right at the gate.
Ready to do it.
Oh.
We'll go pack your bags, Vinny. You got some prep to do. Vinny Vetrone, assistant coach of the Eberlein Drive. Let's drive.
Have a good one, fellas.
Take care, Vinny.
See ya, Vinny. He's always funny to have on. He's a great guy. Well, we're going to keep the guests coming because obviously we're just going to do the analysis at the end because I don't want to keep anybody waiting. So we have a dearth of alumni teams left. It has been kind of for the culture TBT charge. Like, we only have 3 alumni teams left. We talked a little bit about West Virginia. They've made some deep runs before. Shocks have been a host. How intriguing is Shell Shock to you?
Yeah, I mean, I had confidence in these guys right out of the get go. They came in, they were getting some good true alumni guys in there behind the team, supporting the team, a lot of energy, well organized, great social media, and so I know they played a couple of years back, maybe I can't remember, and I think they lost. Maybe it's Florida. I can't remember. But for coming out this year,
they beat Florida.
Did they beat Florida and lose around 2? Yeah, I can't recall.
They beat Florida. Well,
I'm sure someone will
get an
know.
answer to that pretty quick.
Yeah, but
I bet someone will know. You know who might know is sort of team executive director Nima Omidvar. He might know. So did you guys beat Gataverse or not?
Well, you did beat Florida. Okay,
I know better. You know better.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
You know better.
At least I knew you played Florida. I was pretty close. I'm getting old. I don't remember. I'm like that year.
I'm not giving you an out charge. Not doing it. You know too much about TBT. You should have known better. We beat Florida. That was not an easy game.
No breaks for me.
No, it wasn't. I remember that. It was tight. And then the winner got, if memory serves, Gutter Cats, right?
Yes, which I still have nightmares to this day.
And that was that.
But maybe that was a good. Looking at your team now, maybe that was a good thing.
I mean, losing is never a good thing. But that being said, we made changes. We learned. If you can't beat him, join him. Brought over Mo Smith. He joined our squad. Great addition. Will Cherry, I wish he was here. Will's just getting over a knee injury. And, we can talk a little bit about that. We have a very strict medical policy here because none of us are medical personnel, but Will beat us single-handedly in that game against Gutter Cats, and so we wanted him to be with us. But yeah, that was definitely a tough matchup.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the medical thing because one of the things, every team's got a story, and you guys obviously did really, really well, but there's been some discussion about some of the sort of staffing and the injuries. And I read your post, and that was really good because TBT is really important, but still people get paid to play for real in Europe. And I think it's a very transparent thing to be very open about the fact that, if guys can't go, you're not going to risk their careers over TBT. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to the long-term healthier programs. I thought that was addressed well. So how has your team been able to overcome some of the injury troubles to still be a force in this little dance?
Well, like you said, these guys are pros. They know how to take care of their bodies. We do have a gentleman by the name of Kevin Muscala who used to work with City of Gods and TBT, so knows what TBT is. He did all the training and strength and conditioning for all of David Falk's clients. For those that don't know, David Falk was famously Michael Jordan's agent. He did everybody other than Michael Jordan, but he's got a wealth of knowledge in terms of how to get guys' bodies right and ready. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because I'm still grumpy about it. JMU was not a great host. We couldn't get guys treatment the way they needed to. That's bull. It's not okay. You don't bring pros to a gym and don't let them get into the ice bath or give them ice bags or have EMTs as trainers. So TBT, JMU, not Founding Fathers. Okay, Founding Fathers, I have no issue with them. JMU, be better. Okay, that was not okay. So that's why we sent back Eric Ayala so he can get proper treatment. And Mello Trimble, I couldn't do anything for him out in the middle of the woods in Virginia. So those guys are doing what they need to be doing to be right. I say that, but not really tongue in cheek. I mean, we wanted our guys to be healthy, and we invested and had a budget to take care of these guys. But we weren't able to do it. And so that's past. We're still alive.
Yeah,
We're moving
looking
forward.
forward. Well, it's interesting too because the GMU thing. It's weird because GMU I think honestly deserves a lot of credit because the whole joke about I'm not the stepfather, I'm the father that stepped up kind of joke. They're sort of the stepfather of a region because UVA had to withdraw. So I've heard a few criticisms, not just from you, from other people about how it was run, but also even those criticisms have been couched in the fact that they really did step up to at least give it a good run. So there were limitations, but on a short notice, they did a pretty good job. Speaking of hosting, before we get to this year, I know for a fact you would like to host in Maryland, which I would personally love. It's an easy drive for me. So do you think that this run by Shell Shock helps your attempt to host this in 2026?
It's hard to say. We would hope so. We would hope that this has really shown that based on the collection of talent on the court, the collection of talent coaching, the collection of talent GMing, and then there's a slew of others behind the scenes. We at one point had 4 guys with retired uniforms in the locker room for one of our games down here. So there's a lot of interest and excitement from the alums. We have a brand new administration. They literally started this week. So I don't want to put that pressure on them. But we are not going to be bashful in saying that, yes, we do want to host this event. We understand the value that it could bring to our community and to the university and to revenue generation. We feel pretty strongly that Xfinity Center would have a lot of butts in the seats. And you know what? We know we're going a place that is going to have a lot of butts in the seats out in Charleston, West Virginia. That's going to be an advantage for those guys to the left of us when you look at the map.
Yeah, they really do fill it up too. Me and Hayner got Hayner's experienced Charleston more than I have, but really good crowd down there in West Virginia. And this team, I mean, to be honest with you, has to me been one of the surprises to the tournament in West Virginia. Like I said, some people may have discounted Shell Shock, not me, but Hayner may have, but that's a different story. No, I'm kidding. But West Virginia, this is a completely retooled team, from what they're typically rolling out there with guys like Kevin Jones. And obviously you get to match up against them, but just, without obviously going into too much detail, what sticks out about this team? What do you think made them so special this year to run through that region?
You never discredit teams that score more points than the other guys. And the fact that they were able to find a way, and, quite candidly, so have we. We all of our games have been nail biters, whether they should have been or not. It's irrelevant. We found a way. West Virginia's done the same thing. They're a great team. They've got a veteran coaching staff. I mean, you got Ron Everhart as an assistant. He's a great coach and a friend. So you're not getting a team that's unprepared. They know what they're doing. They understand how to execute. And it's going to be a fun matchup, but you just never discredit a team because what you're showing us now on the screen, that's what's on paper. Paper doesn't win games. Going out on the court and executing, and every single day is it's an independent trial to the last. So you just never know how it's going to all pan out.
Absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned the stats because they do tell us a bit of a story here, but like one thing you'll notice is like James Reese can go, and Vincent Mitchell is shooting the most efficient possibly in any tournaments. They present a pretty interesting challenge. But you have your own killer, Diamond Stone, shooting almost 40% from 3. Can you talk a little bit about the advantage of having a 5 that shoots at that almost 40% level from 3? What an advantage that presents you in the half court.
Diamond's a primetime player. We love him. I want to give him a hug every time I see him because he just makes me smile. When he scores, he yells, "I am D Stone," and he is. He's very confident in himself. There's not a shot that he's ever met that he doesn't think he can't make, and we want that. We're not going to discourage that. We're not going to try and change that. That's who he is. That's what we wanted to be part of this thing. TBT defending is important, but scoring is arguably more important. Different than maybe your traditional college basketball or even pro basketball when you get into the playoff segment. You've got to get a race to the Elam and have more points than the other guys. And so he's done a great job, especially coming out on fire, being locked in on how to execute. Being able to shoot at that percentage 39 and a couple from three is really impressive. We've played some teams that have had guys like a Chol, who we brought away from the basket in the last game, and some of the other bigs that we've played that match up kind of similar to Diamond, where he's got that inside-outside ability. He gives us versatility. We really appreciate that out of him.
Yeah, it's good to see him back healthy. I don't think he's played in about 3 years in this tournament. He was actually one of our draft picks. I think it was 4 years back in our fantasy league, and I think he left in the first quarter with an injury. So it's good to see him back and healthy. And I mean, Hayner had a lot of fun talking about Diamond Stone back in the day. Hayner was definitely hyping him. But the one guy who just really kind of came on the last couple of games was Daryl Morcell, just really running that offense, and so he's just been an integral part. So how big was it for him to kind of step up, especially in that game too?
Yeah, show shock doesn't exist without Daryl. Just to be very candid, Daryl has been locked in, passionate, and into this mission of having a University of Maryland alumni team. When we recruited Daryl while I was a member of the staff at the University of Maryland, he was all about being that local product, and he still has that pride. When he plays, he could be playing out in Timbuktu. He's going to have that same type of pride because he cares about every possession. But it just means a little bit more to him, and he finds his way to will the basket, will the stop, bring the ball up and be the point guard when we don't have, the guards that we expected. He's willing to and has constantly stepped up to the challenge that's been asked of him. And I think that's a testament to not just who he is, but just the way he was raised. I got a moment to thank his mom and dad again. They came to the games. It's pretty cool when you're playing in the United States and the same people that were coming to your games in college are there to cheer you on. We had a really good time, just kind of sharing that sentiment, because as college coaches, it goes so fast sometimes you don't really stop and smell the roses. But with him and LG Gill's parents, Andre Fox's parents, I got to coach Andre at South Alabama, got to see them in the stands. It was really fun because I'm actually in the stands. I'm not on the bench this go round, to take a moment and smell the flowers and give my flowers.
Absolutely. So we're going to leave on this question. This will be the last one we ask you, I think. So we got to get you back. You got some packing to do, my friend. You got some stuff to get ready for. You're in a doubleheader sub-regional, basically, with the two oldest teams in TBT in Sideline Eberlein, two cultural fits, and long-term participant, long-term host West Virginia. You're the debutante of the ball, and you're trying to crash the party. How important is it for you guys to announce yourselves on this stage that you not only belong, but you can dominate storied TBTO programs at this point in your juncture?
Yeah, respectfully, not important. We know we belong. We've proven we belong. We've got really good players. You look at that list. I mean, Ronald March is a bad boy. He plays in a country called China. That's a pretty good league. Daryl Morcell.
How big is China as a country? Is it a big country? Is China a big country?
Pretty awesome league. And by the way, that shot from the logo, no doubts. You can look at me on the camera. I'm on the baseline, fist pumping before he even lets it go. All of these guys, we know who they are, what they're capable of. This roster is not accidental. We had great collaboration between our entire staff, from the GMs, Mo Smith, Travis Garrison, Sean Mosley, coaching staff, Joe Smith, obviously Juan Dixon is the head coach, Andre Collins, Byron Mouton, Jasper Williams, who coaches professionally locally. I used to coach him way back in the day. He coached Andre Fox, John Auslander, Kent Auslander. We had a big staff. We all worked together to get here. There's no surprises coming out of the state of Maryland. We understand that this is where we expected to be. By the way, we are Terps. This is a national program and a place that expects to win. So, Charge, which you alluded to at the very beginning, that first run was a disappointment for us. We learned a lot from it, but it was a disappointment for us. We did not enter to TBT to not win it all. We're excited about the opportunity to close it out, but first year, fifth year, doesn't matter. We've watched, we stay in an Airbnb when we go on the road. Charleston doesn't have much to offer in that regard, so we're going to be in a hotel for the first time here. But at our Airbnb at JMU, we watched every single game, all of them. what else is there to do? We talk about time and score. We really drilled it down and went through the segments. We watch on YouTube. You hit pause. Hey, what are we guys going to do here? And so now we've gotten really connected on things that you generally wouldn't know because you didn't play in the Elam ending for the rest in your entire life. So this group expects to be here. We're excited about where we are. We're excited about this matchup, and we hope that we're able to continue. It's not going to be easy. It'll be a one-possession game. We know that. But just like West Virginia expects to win, we expect to win.
All right. Well, there you have it. Well, Nima, we appreciate your time. Appreciate you jumping on. Congratulations on the first 3. Only 3 more to go. So good luck on the rest of the journey. Thanks
so much. And, Andrew, there's no packing. None of us are unpacking. We've been on the road for 2 weeks. We're going to keep it going, baby. That's all it is.
All right. Maybe we'll see you in Louisville. You can crush the home court. If you're in Louisville, maybe we'll get a drink to celebrate your eventual win.
That'd be fantastic.
Executive Director, Nima Omidvar of Shell Shock. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Take care. You got it.
He's a confident lad, actually. I like that juice. He's got some juice. Okay, Charge, we're running a little bit long. Maybe we should get the analysis. I think we might get one more guest. We might be done. So you want to just scrub these games and kind of keep it high level?
Yeah, let's go back. We'll hit it real quick, and if there's anything we missed, we'll hit it. If not, we'll just keep going on.
We'll do the 5-minute teasers. Our guests went wrong, and they're more interesting than we are anyway. Okay, so this We Are D3 matchup. This is going to be interesting because I know you actually are pretty conflicted here. I think it's interesting. Look at the high-level stats. We Are D3 plays such composure, which they have to considering they're shooting like themselves in the foot from 3. 27% is an abysmal amount. So they're winning with kind of some composure. Charge, when you watch these two teams, what do you think about the mirror image part? How do you feel about this game?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what we've been saying. With the exception of Reggie, a 7-footer, I mean, these guys are just kind of, fast, tenacious. I mean, they get after you on both ends of the court. And, I mean, you look at, we talked about Darius Adams versus Ty Nichols. We talked about the great coaching matchup. Just well-designed, well-organized, prepared teams. And this one here really is going to come down to a coin toss. I would be shocked if this wasn't kind of a classic Elam ender, just like we've seen a good part of the tournament. Obviously, Phil Harder's got to button down their Elam game a little bit, get a little more patient, a little more comfortable there. But it's going to come right down to the wire here. I mean, I don't know how you can call this one any differently. It's just so tight, so close, so similar styles in play. It's going to be a great game.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because these teams both have some guys who can just go, and Adams and Nichols with supporting staffs around them. Darius Adams needs to shoot a little better from 3. He's scoring a lot in sort of an inefficient fashion. Plus, he's almost got 5 turns a game. So Phil Harder seems to press the ball, get a lot of really easy looks in transition, play real hard, and then kind of has some inexplicable stretches where they just turn it over. We Are D3's been a lot more under control for the most part after early adjustments. Samuel Peak's been good, but his shooting's a little down. So if he gets going, this is a pretty dangerous team. I mean, we'll get into the picks in a minute. I think it's a pretty clear matchup. This, I think, was the hardest game of these to call in my mind. Our brackets are pretty close as usual, but I think this one's pretty close. We'll get to our picks in a minute, but I think this will be a widely entertaining game to get to the other matchup, which is box office, the Shocks versus Heartfire. And I think we kind of disagree here. You'll notice that the stats for Heartfire didn't get updated later today. They're still waiting for the third game stats. But you can see, they're pretty close to each other. But, I mean, obviously, Shocks are rebounding the ball real well, whereas Heartfire is really kind of rechristened TJ Kennedy as a point forward with a huge assist numbers. He's done everything across the board to help their shooters and guys get in transition. So, Charge, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, I like what the Shocks did in their non-alumni. So, we could have a whole show about alumni teams and what is an alumni team, just like we can every year. But, kind of their highest producers right now, Nike Sabande coming from the Zoo Crew last year. You got Chavez Goodwin coming from Woco Showtime last year. You got Marcus Keene coming from West Virginia via Sideline, I can't even remember who else he's played for, kind of a little mercenary recently. And so they just did an amazing job connecting with these free agents. And that was kind of, great moves. Zach Bush has been on our show before. Great basketball mind as well, and big time competitor. But these guys, still kept a good core of aftershocks with the Fran Camp, Kelly, McDuffie, Wade, and so it still has a lot of good aftershocks culture. But they just added the right pieces that make a big difference. And in Heartfire, they basically rinse and repeat. They have their kind of style, their brand player, and they keep bringing back that kind of same crew who we tease about age, but they just keep bringing it every year after year after year. So it's been pretty impressive run by Heartfire once again.
I mean, this is a team that's going to start getting ARP commercials pretty soon, but they still win games. So who cares?
Yeah, and I thought
Father Time.
He's still getting up there.
Father Time's their main opponent. Oh yeah, no, they still go. One thing I like about both these teams getting into it is you see the minutes distribution. They play their rosters. They really get good minutes across the board, competition across the board. The thing that's striking, especially for Aftershocks, is how good they are on the glass versus how poorly they're shooting. Marcus Keene, who's an absolute killer, and hit a bomb to win a game. A crazy limiter is only shooting 21% from three, which is very un-Marcus-like. He's hit a few big shots, and again, a win is a win. So it's you hit it when it counts, no big deal. But you got to assume he's going to go off at some point. He really hasn't yet. But the shooting's got to really improve. Sabande is really hitting, being hyper efficient. Everybody else is really having a hard time getting the ball in the hole. They're winning it on the glass, second chances. Whereas Heartfire, Kenny's just setting up a really veteran, well-oiled machine. Marcus Hall is shooting 55% from three, and we know he's a killer, but that's just an insane number. So it's really a question of styles. Can the methodical nature and the veteran steadiness of Heartfire beat a team that's just going to eat glass and have Keen at the end? I mean, it could be a pretty, unlike the other games, a mirror game. This feels like a contrast game, doesn't it, Charge? The teams aren't that similar.
Yeah, no, very, very different. And then obviously you can't discount the Aftershocks home court advantage. So they earn that in, not to go down that rabbit hole, but I really did like the kind of the home court advantage kind of rulings that they did, because now you have 2 games in West Virginia, 2 games in Aftershock, and we talked about playing in those empty arenas. So I think you're going to get crowds for both these games. It's going to be exciting for the teams. But I think Aftershocks is going to ride that home court advantage. But very, very different styles of play. And Marcus did his Lambeau leap into the Wichita crowd, and I think they're coming to like him really, really quickly.
Yeah, it's really interesting too, because I think it's worth mentioning the home court. We're down to 2 home teams. So if the Shocks get eliminated and West Virginia's eliminated, the neutral court final is Bellarmine's the small stadium, Bellarmine's small stadium on campus in Louisville. That would be Sunday if they eliminate both the Shocks and West Virginia. So that is the fail-safe. That is the true neutral court if the championship is between 2 non-hosts. So this could be a pretty interesting game. I mean, it's a Roundhouse is a great atmosphere, always a great place to watch a game. It seems to be a lot of fun. It'll be a good nightcap. That's halfway through. Let's get the other 2 real fast. So Shell Shock West Virginia, we had Nima on. Very confident lad. Won a very fun JMU region. West Virginia was able to basically, honestly, the Sacramento Kings not getting eliminated really helped West Virginia advance, if we're being honest. I think if John Elmore and Kinsey played that game, we might have a different result. The story here is one of sort of pace versus, again, steadiness, because you see, James Reese can go. He is going ham. He's got 21 points a game. Mitchell's shooting really well, whereas the guys on Shell Shock are a little less efficient, turn it over more. So it seems like it'll be, again, sort of be a study in contrast. Will the crowd be enough for West Virginia? Charge, what stands out with you about this game?
Yeah, I think once again, I'm just impressed with West Virginia and how well that team came together. They brought in some new folks. Obviously, the biggest impact was James Reese. So Bleed Virginia, that's a different story. But Bleed Green, rather, from North Texas, not in it this year, and they were able to pick up James Reese, who absolutely dominated. But this is a talented team, a skilled team, a physical team. JD Witherspoon gets after folks, got a lot of grit to him. And so this is just a really deep team of guys. I think they have something a little to prove too, and they're going to get a taste of full full crowd at Charleston this weekend, and then Shell Shock once again up and coming. The alumni kind of roots are there
Diamond
a little
Stone.
bit deeper. And gotta love Diamond Stone, but Rattle March was a huge pickup for those guys, and so he had an off game. Morcell picked it up for him and really led that team. But yeah, I mean, this one here, same thing. I mean, these games are going to be amazing. Almost a toss up again. I don't think there's any games that you can really point to and be like, yeah, no, there's going to be a rout.
No, I expect competitive games throughout. I also like the contributions down the tree from guys like Tarka and Green with the steals and the rebounds. They're really getting after it. Their role players are really stepping up and starring in their roles. So I think that really helps Shell Shock in this game. And the nightcap, the last game, this is the one for the culture. This is the one for us. This is the one for everybody that understands what TBT is about. This is the your team's, your tournament era game. This is the one that everybody who's a lifer in this event is looking forward to. It's the guys that are really going to be the story, which is Sideline Kansas for Eberlein Drive. And this might be not just the game for the culture, the most fun game of the whole thing, because you're looking at this, and I mean, you see a lot of quality there. Eberlein Drive's really been aggressive. Played probably, with the exception of Ville, maybe a higher caliber of opponent than Sideline Cancer, because they've gotten a couple games that might not have been the same death march Eberlein Drive took. But at the same time, you've basically got a real situation where, like, Sideline's hitting the shots at a much higher clip, Eberlein's sharing the ball more. But, I mean, when you start this matchup charge, you're starting with the backcourts, right? I mean, the backcourts are the story here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really the balance in both of these teams. And can't talk now. But with Eberlein, I said all along, I mean, those guys adding Gabe York and Terry Taylor, I mean, is just big. So you get that big power forward. And Terry Taylor, I mean, he's an NBA guy, an NBA talent. And then you bump that up against two guards, Gabe York and Anthony Clemens. So we're talking about the big two over at We Are D3, but Gabe York and Anthony Clemens are, just solid people. Then you almost got the same exact thing on the other side with Jermaine Morrow and Verge, who have just both been extremely impressive. And then Coffee, how about that game winner the other night? That was exciting. Almost reminded me back in the day of Red Scare beating my Canton team on a putback dunk, and
Devin Oliver, baby.
Yeah, so very similar top three there. Got some good guards, got a little bit of muscle, and then they're both fairly deep. Teams we talked about, I think Eberlein just a hair deeper, but I think their strengths once again align very closely to each other. So it's going to be a grind it out and see what happens.
I love the contrast, especially in the backcourt too, because the thing I find most interesting about Silent Cancer specifically as a team is the contrast in Morrow and Verge's game, because they play kind of differently. Like, Verge is a live wire, he's electric athletically, he's in the lane, he's causing all these problems. Whereas Morrow's a steady hand who finds his spots, works off the ball, calms it down, just cans threes. He's shooting 66% from deep. Like, that contrast is a really interesting thing to see play out in real time. Like, two elite guards who complement each other really well with different styles of play makes it a compelling story. And of course, Eberlein, York, and Clemens, they can go. I mean, that when they played Tampa with York going ham in the first half and Clemens going nuts in the second, like, that was just a baton pass moment. They both go. Both are really, really, really elite. That's just such a fun matchup. So not only is this the game for the culture, this is really a game that's just going to be hard to pick because both these teams can go. I think it's actually pretty clear which is a little better, but it could go either way. Charge, any closing thoughts, or should we get to the picks?
No, let's go ahead and get to the picks. Let's see, lock into where we are.
Here's you, and you'll notice I made an editorial decision with your picks because you didn't give me something, so I editorialized a bit.
All right.
It says coward, by the way. If you're listening, the picks say coward.
Let me start on the left-hand side. I'm taking Eberlein over Sideline Cancer. I said right from the beginning, my official bracket, Gabe York, Terry Taylor show up for the TBT. Eberlein Drive will win this tournament. And so far, they have not proved me wrong or doubted me anyway. But like I said, this is going to be a knockout, drag-out fight. This next one, once again, I did great on this side of the bracket. My original pick, I had Shell Shock to the Final Four. I was assuming we'd have Noah Tremble. In this one here, I'm sticking by my original. West Virginia has just been impressive, though. They're going to have a home court advantage. little more nervous about this one, but I think Shell Shock, they've had some battle-tested games. So did West Virginia, but I'm going to stick with my gut. I picked them for the beginning, and so Eberlein and Shell Shock I'm locked in on. Over on the right-hand side, I think Aftershocks rides that home court crowd. Heartfire's got a lot of experience, but I think the Aftershocks team with their transfer-ins, especially Marcus Keene, they're just going to be a little too much to handle. But I do not want to pick against We Are D3 or Fail Harder. These are
well, you have to just pick one. You love them both. It's fine.
I know. I don't want a loser. That's just how I am in this one. But gun to head.
Well, just pick one, though. God, go.
We're gonna go. I think Fail Harder's got just a little more depth. I think some of these guys have been playing overseas professionally for a long time. And just a little more depth. They've been, riding Darius Adams quite a bit, but I think a guy like Reggie, he's just a unique player, brings an element to the game, and I think if they get him a little more action with his size, I think he can be an impact player to get him over the top. And I'm going to ride with the winner of this game. So this one here, I locked into Fail Harder. So I think Fail Harder's just they've got the momentum. They got the wheel turning, and I think they're gonna go up against the finals, meet Eberlein, and once again picked Eberlein from the beginning. Gonna stick with them, and Eberlein's gonna be your TBT 2025 champions.
Yeah, and all kidding aside, I understand we don't want to pick that We Are D3 Fail Harder games. That is the hardest pick. I think we all like the teams. I mean, you become friends with these guys over years of covering because it's fun. So the reality is, no hate against people, but like. That Eberlein sideline game, I love both teams, but that wasn't a hard one for me to pick, I'll be honest. So, yeah, I think those are pretty good picks, Charge. Good logic, too. And I think that Fail Harder We Are D3 one is the hardest one to pick. I would agree with that. I mean, I think you're wrong a couple others, but, you're not bad. Okay, so here's mine. And we'll go through the logic here. So let's go for it. So, first of all, I've got Eberlein over sideline, and it's good. And I think sideline's really good, but I don't think this one's even that close. I think sideline's really good, but I think Eberlein is just even better. I think they're a pretty heavy favorite to win the whole thing at this point. I think York and Clements are just pretty unstoppable. And I think the world of Jermaine Morrow and Verge, that's a great backcourt. And if it's any other backcourt in this tournament, I think they probably carry out, even including the We Are D3 backcourt. But I just think York and Clements are just going to not be denied. So I think that might be close, but I think Eberlein wins that 10 times out of 10 almost, to be honest with you. As good as sideline is. And they're a great squad. So watch, as soon as I pick Eberlein, they're going to lose. I think Shell Shock's a slightly better team, but I think the crowd's going to matter. I think neutral court Shell Shock wins this. I think at home, I think West Virginia finds a way. They're due. I think they figure it out. It was just nice. I don't think they would have got out of this region if the Summer League turned out differently. So I think they're a little surprising. I think Shell Shock's better. I think the crowd actually carries them. On the other side, I think it's very different. I think Heartfire is better than Aftershocks. I don't think the crowd will carry them enough. I don't think the crowd will make the difference. I think Heartfire's DNA with a few days rest, I think it makes it happen. I think the We Are D3 Fail Harder game is the hardest one to call. I'm with you there. I think that is impossible. I went back and forth. I'm going to go with We Are D3. I think both are good. I think Fail Harder is probably even slightly more talented. I think having watched them both, though, I think the composure for We Are D3, they adjusted more readily. Fail Harder only has one speed. That speed is fast and killer, so it's a good speed to have if you got one speed. But I think We Are D3's ability to go both slow and fast will probably carry the day and what will be probably the tightest game. And then I think We Are D3's end run comes to an end. I think Heartfire does knock them out at that point. I think Eberlein knocks out West Virginia off their home court. Probably pretty convincingly, if we're being honest. Setting up a non-alumni thing. We both have non-alumni matchups. I have Heartfire, one of the former champs, against Eberlein. They've been so close so many times. I think I agree with you. Eberlein gets over the Schneid. If they make it happen, they make this happen and win their first TBT title. But again, all these teams are good. So, I mean, they're probably going to take our brackets and torch them, like literally Sunday. I mean, we're quite possible we're both got a lot of these wrong because there's so many good teams. But this has been wildly entertaining. So, Charge, closing thoughts. What do you think about this? How we gotten this far? What's your closing thought? What's your big thought so far?
Yeah, no, it's been an impressive tournament. I think there was a lot of question marks coming into it with the buy-in this year. 61 teams versus 64. I thought this would be a little more chalky than it was, very top heavy, teams just dominating the tournament. But I think it's just impressive how, these teams kind of stepped up and really filled a role. You saw the Raleigh team win. You saw the Memphis team get a win. People never expected the guys to do well. LA Ignite, I thought, was a great team, but just underrated. And so I think the parity in the tournament and the level of talent stayed high as it's ever been in the TBT. And the games are even more exciting than any year. So I know, everyone wants to, get more alumni teams and kind of pull those guys through, but just pure basketball, pure excitement. It's been one of the best TBTs ever. And to your point, I mean, it's just been great to see some of the TBT lifers just really kind of pull through here and, come through and get one more shot at making this run, whether it's Billy and Sideline, Jake and Matt and Vinny of Eberlein, Reg at We Are D3. Heartfire's been at this forever. Zach's been leading Aftershocks forever. And, so I guess you got to fail harder and shell shock the newbies, but Best Virginia has been around forever. So people who kind of put in their dues, understand the tournament and what it takes to win, really kind of pulling through into the TBT this year.
Yeah, it's been probably one of the better tournaments. And Sami's got a great point. Any of the 8 could win it all. Going to be fun to watch. They are not wrong. This could be a pretty good matchup. All right, Charge. It's always a pleasure. We've had a fun night going through the whole thing. We had some good guests. We had a good time. So next time we're going to see you might be actually in Brooklyn. You're going out of town for a bit. You're going to be in my hometown, the People's Republic, soon.
Yeah, I'll be out there the 31st. So semifinal night, I'll be at a hotel before I start vacation the next morning. So I will be on vacation for the final. So we'll figure out a way to tune into that the best I can on vacation. But so it's going to be a fun run up to the end. So I'll enjoy this upcoming weekend's basketball and get as much in before I kind of tune out for a little bit.
So Charge, you know where I'll be on that Sunday?
No, you're home.
So if it becomes neutral, I'm going to try to get to Louisville. If it goes neutral,
oh yeah, you did say you did go.
Yeah. I'm going to try to make it. I'm going to try to make it if it's neutral. If it's what'd you say?
I don't think so because Wichita's going to smoke Heartfire, so I don't think it's going to get there.
That's true. Well, I'm going to have to pre-book everything and then just cancel it if it goes to that. Because I looked at a flight to Wichita is blood money at this point because it's too late.
Yeah, I don't think it gets to Louisville because we talk. I mean, not to keep going back, but We Are D3 and Phil Harder's as close of a matchup as you can. I think Shell Shock, Best Virginia. I think one of those two are going to make it through, whether it's Best Virginia or Wichita. I don't know which one, but I picked Wichita, so it's going to be them.
Okay, fair. Well, you picked Wichita, so it won't be. Okay, Charge, always a pleasure. This is 16. We got a couple more in the season we're going to do, but always a pleasure to see you. Stay on. We'll chat for a bit after. But otherwise, if you're listening to our show, thanks for coming by. We really like the fact we're able to bring these stories to you guys, and it's been a lot of fun. This has been one of the more fun cycles for us because a lot of the lifers have gotten through. So it's made it a lot of fun for, I think, Charge and I. And it's always a pleasure to get to spend time with people who enjoy this event as much as we do. So, Charge, any closing thoughts?
No, that's it for me. I appreciate all the work you did on the interviews and the videos this year. So they've been entertaining and a lot of great content. So appreciate the work you put in.
Okay, Charge from his dark bat cave. Hater from the People's Republic of Brooklyn. This has been Charge and Hater present ZoomTheTBT. And we'll talk to you soon after the quarterfinals. It's going to be a fun weekend. See you guys later.
Hope you enjoyed listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hater. Subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, and give us your money.